Well, if wrestling couldn't be more demented than it has been over the course of the last few years, it has gotten even more demented. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already know, now you know. Kevin Owens is a new opponent facing Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, also to the Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 5. Today, we're going to talk about Kevin Owens now being instated into the WWE Championship matchup with Daniel Bryan, which on paper is a great matchup, but wasn't needed. But we'll break things down a little bit, what I think might possibly happen between these two men. Plus, also, the other part of this video I'd like to discuss is also the rumors and dialogue going on Twitter between Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch that I've actually observed through YouTube videos and stuff like that. Being very shocked of how much Ronda Rousey is showing displeasure towards Becky Lynch and why that is happening. I think I have a good reason. I know what that is. I'm pretty certain I know what the real reason is to why Becky Lynch is being disliked by Ronda Rousey at this point. But let's go into the subject of Kofi Kingston. This past Tuesday on SmackDown, we actually witnessed Vincent Kennedy McMahon coming out and giving the nod to Kevin Owens to face Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship instead of Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston was given a lot of credit towards his hard work in the last 11 years, but he doesn't feel, Vince McMahon does not feel Kofi Kingston is that blockbuster type of hype up that you can get with him in comparison to Kevin Owens. Now, if you got any more racist than that, here's the reason why. Kevin Owens has been portrayed like a dumbass over the course of the last 2 years. When he went over to SmackDown, he became a joke. He was on Raw, he became a joke. He was an absolute joked out Universal Champion who deserved much more than what was given to him. And to be tied with Chris Jericho, even though Chris Jericho is a great name, and he has given a lot to the wrestling industry, him being positioned with Chris Jericho was an absolute sham and joke on his title reign, nonetheless. So no, I was not happy with the decision with Kevin Owens. Now, if you break things down here, and you look at it in the long haul, does this benefit Kofi Kingston? Yes, it does, because it brings heat and aggravation towards the fans about the fact that Kofi Kingston was stripped away the opportunity to challenge for the WWE Championship. Now, granted, Kofi Kingston in this situation will not be able to go one-on-one with the champion. This is going to have to be a triple threat match. There is no way in hell you can leave Kevin Owens out of the picture for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. You've already placed him in this spot. You might as well keep him there till WrestleMania, and then at that point figure out what you want to do with him. But for right now, they could do one of two things. They could have Kevin Owens win the WWE Championship, go on to WrestleMania with Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. Maybe you put it in a way of putting Daniel Bryan in by him earning the opportunity to get back into the WWE picture. Not to mention, what he has done as champion has been very impressive. I'm not going to take that away from him. The only thing I don't like is that WWE Championship, which has got to go. Sorry. That ain't even a fucking title. That's a toy and a piece of plastic. Doesn't even look like a belt. So very, very disgusting championship, if you followed my videos in the last couple of weeks since this change has happened since late January, you would know that I absolutely hate that fucking belt that Daniel Bryan's carrying around right now. But, nonetheless, at this point in time, Kevin Owens, there is some way that they're going to have Kofi. I believe Kofi Kingston is going to win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. He has put on a fucking show for people. He has been very entertaining. This past week on Tuesday's SmackDown, he actually was fucking impressive in that tag team matchup with him and Kevin Owens against Daniel Bryan and Rowan. They were great together, those two. And to see them in a triple threat match at WrestleMania, I would be okay with that. That I would definitely be cool with. I know it wouldn't be the main event, but who fucking cares? If Kofi Kingston was to win, it doesn't matter where the damn moment is placed in this card. It's going to be fantastic for him, most importantly. But I don't quite understand where Kevin Owens got the nod by Vince McMahon as being deserving for this championship. He hasn't done a whole lot in his career outside of winning a couple of major championships, such as the U.S., the Intercontinental, and the Universal Championship. And granted, even though he's won all those titles, none of his title reigns have been very memorable. His only moment in his career that has been really that memorable was him defeating John Cena in his very first match. Now, nothing to take away from him because he's actually had some really decent matches with Roman Reigns of all people, which, shocking coming out of my fucking mouth. But at the end of the day, he has put on some decent matches with some big names. But his title reigns have never meant anything, at least to me anyway. I think that his title reigns were an absolute joke because of the fact that he was tied with Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho is always there to save him to retain the title. So that's where his problem lies. But at the end of the day, I feel that if they're going to do all of this to Kofi Kingston, he needs to be winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That is a most definite. That needs to happen. If anything else that makes sense in this world, Kofi Kingston needs to be the WWE Champion. At the end of the day, if you look at SmackDown is not positioned as the primary focus of WWE. It's Monday Night Raw, and it's done horrible. The whole show on Monday Night Raw, they are starting to progress a little bit, but they are not anywhere near what they need to be. SmackDown is blowing them away when it comes to entertainment value, matches, and actually storylines in the last 2 weeks that I have seen. Raw is getting there, but they are still far and few between to where they need to be. Because where they are right now, it's still horrendous. No matter how much I find it bearable to watch, I still think there's a lot of progress that can be made on this show to make it well worth everybody's time for 3 fucking hours. Hell, even if it was 2 hours, the show would still suck. Let's get real here. I think Impact Wrestling is better than Monday Night Raw. And that's pretty fucking sad because Impact Wrestling does not have a premier TV channel that they are on to present their show to people. Their only way of viewing this shit is on Pursuit Channel or Twitch. Now, that's pretty fucking low in itself, and they still give something to the table that's more entertaining than what fucking Monday Night Raw produces. That's all I have to say on that subject. But that is my feelings on that. Now, let's get into topic number 2, and then we're going to pretty much end this video. This is going to be kind of a long, drawn-out, a little bit more into things that I feel is going on here. Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch are talking a lot of trash to each other this past Thursday. Ronda Rousey is saying a lot of stuff about how she found Becky Lynch's move to be a really shitty ass move. It's pathetic. It looks like she has a dick in her hand, claiming that she's the man. And then Becky Lynch comes back with a tweet with a picture of fucking Travis Brown's head on the end of Charlotte's arm, and basically saying Travis Brown, who's the wife of Ronda Rousey, is a dickhead, which she took it very personal there. I mean, there was already animosity between these two women to begin with, at least from Ronda Rousey's side, but then when she initiated the dislike towards Becky Lynch even escalated even more. So this has turned into a Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart type of thing in a women's fashion. Really, if you want to get technical with this. A lot of drama going on between these two women, and I actually like it, to be honest with you, in the sense of a storyline hype up for WrestleMania's main event matchup. I think this match would get a lot of pickup and a lot of feedback, a lot more interest into it if they were to go along with the idea of putting these two women's verbal conversations with each other as a story that's made into a real life thing on a platform of WWE. I think that would be great. That would help Ronda Rousey have a purpose in this. Not on top of it, she is going on to say that she don't need WWE. She does this because she wants to. It's really simply because she just wants to do it. And what she did on Monday Night Raw, even though it's storyline or no storyline, they did the right thing with her. She laid down the title and said, look, I don't need WWE. I never had to come here whatsoever. I am not desperate. I just wanted to do this because I love this. I love the business of wrestling, and I want this title to mean something. And if I can't face the women that want this title and give them the opportunity to go after it, me be a defending champion, what good is this title to me? What good is this title to anyone for that matter? Is the way she was coming off as. This is just a prop. It's a joked out piece of shit title, which I found extremely great that they went with that, because that brought about realism. It stated that WWE is admitting that they have placed this company's titles to meaningless pieces of trash, and that they should do better by these belts. And that is the truth. And the way they have presented this whole storyline, it's all favoritism. They are projecting the real life situations that are going on behind the scenes that people have been pointing out for the last several years since Roman Reigns has been a main eventer. Really, that's what they have done. There is so much favoritism in this company that they would rather give it to the person who didn't win the Royal Rumble than give it to the person who did. Now, granted, Becky Lynch wasn't in the Royal Rumble at first, but there was a person injured, and a official, a guy who works behind the scenes as one of WWE's people, was given the right to state that, yes, you can go into the Royal Rumble. That was Finlay. Now, if they wanted to go that route, Finlay really should have been placed on television, talked to by Vince McMahon, and said, where in the hell do you have the right to put somebody like Becky Lynch or anyone who already had a WWE Women's Championship opportunity into the Royal Rumble, unless I was the one who stated it would be okay. You didn't ask any permission from me directly to put her in this matchup. So guess what? This Royal Rumble winner situation is null and void. Plain and simple. Then it should have been Charlotte and Becky Lynch competing one-on-one at Fastlane or fucking Elimination Chamber, whatever they would want to do, and have them go one-on-one in the matchup. At that point, I would have done a draw. I would have made this complete draw, beat down, they beat the living shit out of each other type of situation. They both pass out on the mat, and the referee has to count to 10 because neither woman could stand up. And there you go. There's your triple threat. That would have been the best way of doing it. It would have made more sense, and it would have been not showing a lot of favoritism to any one of them. It would have given Charlotte a reason to actually be in it, because Charlotte was in the Royal Rumble to begin with, and she got eliminated by Becky Lynch, nobody else. So, yeah, of course, she had a right into this, but the way she was presented into this matchup was not the right way to do it. I mean, we would have gotten another classic one-on-one matchup between these two women with no ending result, which means they would have both earned the right to be in the Royal Rumble, not the Royal Rumble, but the WWE Women's Championship match at WrestleMania 35. And that's how I think that should have went down. But regardless of all that, it still is a very interesting story, regardless of how I feel with what has gone on progressing towards where we're at right now. But going back to the tweets, there was a lot of stuff such as Ronda Rousey saying that I don't care if this stuff is fake. Now, number one thing I don't think you should ever say to another in-ring competitor in WWE or in any professional wrestling promotion that this stuff is fake. Now, granted, the matches are fixed. We do understand that. They are choreographed. They are set up in certain situations and spots, what they need to do. But at the end of the day, if you see what happens to these guys after the match, you notice that they do get hurt, they have injuries, and they're in pain, and they depend on painkillers half the time and becoming extremely addicted, which makes them deteriorate their health, and like Eddie Guerrero, drop dead of a heart attack. A lot of people think that had something to do with steroids, which I think that had something to play into it, but also painkillers can fuck up your heart and make you ill and die if you become addicted to it, which Chavo Guerrero has stated many times before that his uncle was actually addicted to painkillers. One of his things that he could not quit, mainly because of what he did for a living, which makes a lot of sense. Jeff Hardy was another person just like that, addicted to painkillers and other narcotic drugs to get through the agonizing pain that he dealt with on a day-to-day basis. What he does now to deal with what he does in the ring, I do believe he has toned down his performances a bit more to where it's a little bit more safe for him to deal with what he's got to do from day-to-day, week-to-week type situations. But still, it's not exactly what you would call fake. Okay, so Ronda Rousey using the word fake really antagonized Becky Lynch to say some derogatory things towards Ronda Rousey. And that led to back and forth backlash with each other, words being exchanged. Ronda Rousey at the end of the whole thing stating, hey, I don't care if this is a storyline or not. I find you, I see you, we bump heads, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. So basically, she's going to break character on national television. Ugh. That don't sound like something Vince McMahon would approve. It's breaking character, and it's fucking up everything that they're trying to build towards WrestleMania. But here's the thing, Vince McMahon should not look at that as a negative. He should look at this as something he can initiate into the storylines he's built up to. Now, people may ask me, why do you think Ronda Rousey has such a big hard-on for Becky Lynch in such a negative way. My guess really is just the fact that I think it was because Becky Lynch came on to not Monday Night Raw, Elimination Chamber after the match was over with Ronda Rousey and Ruby Riott. She really unloaded heavily onto Ronda Rousey in a very furious fashion, coming across as if Becky Lynch does not like Ronda Rousey whatsoever. So technically, if you want to look at it, it's really Becky Lynch who might have the beef with Ronda Rousey at first, and now Ronda Rousey is just retaliating towards that anger that Becky Lynch has for her. Now, if that's the case, I understand that makes a lot of sense for Ronda Rousey to be upset with this. Ronda Rousey is a great performer. She's very good at what she does. She's a realistic fighter. She's fought in combat sports. So she has a lot of experience in that, and she brings a lot of realism to this sport. But she can come across, at least to me, that she thinks she's better than all the women in her division. And that can make people jealous, not like you, think you're a dick, think you're full of yourself, and think you're just an absolute asshole. And with that, I mean, I can understand where the dislike would come from. So that I can understand why Becky Lynch would do what she did. But at the end of the day, you're professionals. Be professional. You're not there to try to fucking literally kill her. You're there to build a story and tension with the idea to get people invested in what you're doing. Now, Becky Lynch did that, no doubt about it. But the problem is how she did it. She really unloaded on Becky Lynch a lot harder than what she did to Charlotte. It clearly looked like Becky Lynch was trying to really harm her badly. I mean, when I watched it, I was going, damn, she is fucking her up. I hope she doesn't injure her or give her a concussion, because she was actually bleeding on the side of her fucking head. And that's not good at all. I kind of figure that was done, I mean, maybe by accident, but you think about it, why did she have to unload so heavily like that and take a chance of injuring one of her colleagues in this story that they're trying to build together with Charlotte Flair? To me, it makes no fucking sense. Now, at this point, it looks like the story has shifted from Charlotte Flair and Ronda and Becky Lynch to now Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. Now Ronda Rousey looks like she's really involved in the story, and now Charlotte's taking the backseat to all of this, while Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch are just fucking word exchanging, and on top of it, what they've done in the ring in the last few days. So with all that said, it's bringing on a lease on life for Ronda Rousey in the storyline, I feel. But at the same time, there's a lot of controversy personally between these two women of Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. So that's how I feel about this. Do I think that they should initiate this story, this situation going on into a storyline? I absolutely do. Because at the end of the day, what did people like most about Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart? The actual real-life controversy that went on between these two guys. Now, granted, it may not be the most professional thing to do, but does it get the job done to get this storyline developed and get people feeling like, damn, this is important? This right here is what is going to get this storyline over. These two women hating on each other, saying that wrestling is fake, saying that, hey, you dislike wrestling, I love wrestling type of deal that was going on between these two women. And Becky Lynch saying the things that she said, and Ronda Rousey saying that she was going to beat the shit out of her the next time she sees her on television. I mean, I think that's fucking amazing. I mean, granted, reality-wise, it's not exactly a very nice thing that two colleagues are saying these things to each other because it brings a lot of hostility environment to both of them. But this is not ballet. This is not, working in an office and picking up the phone and calling people and trying to sell them shit. This is, you're going in a ring and physically doing things to one another and making it look as realistic as possible. Well, if you got realism dislike towards one another, why damn, you're going to get a lot of realism towards the match, which people are going to actually appreciate that they're getting real life stuff instead of forced on and fake bullshit that they don't care to be invested in. So at the end of the day, Vince McMahon has gotten a winner out of this. Not a loss, a win. And if he wants to take advantage of it, I would. For him to be upset with it, I understand where he's coming from on that because of the fact that he needs these women to be professional. He can't have and afford to have them wailing the fucking shit out of each other to the point they could injure one another and ruin this main event that he's tried to build for the last year. He's given Becky Lynch this opportunity. He didn't even care for her at all until after SummerSlam and so forth, and what she's delivered to the table for him and the audience. He has to give the audience this. This is something that the people are really invested in with Becky Lynch's character. So of course he had to do this, but initially his whole mindset was Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. That's it. Period. And, I mean, he's going about trying to give in to the crowd. He also wants what he wants. And it's like one big giant, pull from the crowd, us, the people that actually watch the show and help him become and stay rich. And him himself trying to get what he wants that he believes is the right decision on what should go on within his company as people who should win and lose and so forth. But that's just me personally. I feel that he's giving himself and the audience what they want. And there's nothing wrong. I like the fact that he's giving to us, but he's also being a little self-centered in what he thinks is the right decision for who should be challenging for the Women's Championship. Quite frankly, if I was the person running this shit, I wouldn't care who the hell is getting a title shot. I would give the audience what they want. They want to see Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. The crowd does not really care for Charlotte Flair to get an opportunity for that title. Honestly, what the people would really enjoy is Asuka versus Charlotte Flair 2. That is what I would love to see, because Asuka was fucking placed to Nowheresville after the loss. She's done nothing since. Even with a title win, she doesn't come across as something that, to me, is important. And for her to face Charlotte Flair and beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania with the SmackDown Women's title on the line would bring a little bit more hype up to Asuka's character again to get that revenge loss that she received last year at WrestleMania. So that's just me in a nutshell. But anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. I'll definitely get back to you on them. And hit the like button if you liked the video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to this channel. And have a great night, guys. Bye.